meeting of the church itself grew out of the election of Pope John the 23rd. And Pope John the 23rd, if you don't realize it, was elected Pope. He was at advanced age, and they thought after the long papacy of Pius XII that John the 23rd would be a caretaker Pope. He wouldn't last too long, wouldn't make a great impact. All right? He was in his 70s and so on. Well, the next thing you know, 3 months after he's elected, he announces that there's going to be this ecumenical council, which shook people to their bones. All right?
Yeah, just to give an idea of how many people came. So it was 2,200 bishops, but overall, with the other advisors and councils, it came to about 4,000 people in Rome for those 4 years.
And all of the major sessions took place, believe it or not, in the center aisle of St. Peter's. So if you know what the size of St. Peter's Basilica is, there were banks of seats placed on each side of the aisle, which held all of the bishops and the observers. You still had about, 10 or 12 feet to walk down the aisle, so you can imagine. There were, I think, 2,600 bishops over the course. It wasn't the same number each time, but over the course of 4 years, there were 2,600 bishops that attended, out of the possible 2,900 in the world. Some couldn't make it because of health. Some were behind the Iron Curtain at the time, and so on and so forth. But this, according to John the 23rd, and these are his words with regard to this council, excuse me, by virtue of the number and variety of those who will participate in its meetings, it will be the greatest of the councils held by the church so far. And what he meant by greatest here specifically and initially dealt with the number of bishops, the places in the world that were represented, and the number of observers. So, for example, the last ecumenical council that the church had was Vatican Council I, which took place in 1869, 1870. And at that time, there were 737 bishops who attended. Right? Vatican II, you had over 2,500 bishops attending.
And there was also a war during Second Vatican, the First
Vatican Council.
Yeah, so that interrupted that too.
It interrupted it, and as wars in Europe interrupted many of the councils beforehand. But what John meant was, if you look at the numbers, there were 737 bishops at Vatican I. If you look at the representation of the Catholic Church throughout the world, let me throw out some numbers to you here. Obviously, most of the bishops came from Europe, and there were about little under 1,100 bishops from Europe. But South America had 400. North America had 375. Asia had 296. Africa had 64. I'm sorry. Asia had 374. Africa had 296. Central America 64, and Oceania had 75. So the representation of the church was worldwide. It was truly an ecumenical council.